Test one, two, test. Pineapple. Pineapple. All right, how's it sound?
Perfect.
Perfect pineapple. All right. Ready when you are, sir.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
Sweet. You know he was talking about Obama there, right?
Huh? What?
That video he
Oh,
was
sorry. I was getting my news, my Facebook news. What are you doing?
Oh, your Facebook news?
What's up, man? Yeah.
So, you're killing me. Can we talk for a minute? Okay, first of all, real quick, that clip was of Trump talking about Obama, but I thought it was so perfect for where we're at today. But let's talk about you and Facebook for a moment. You want to go down that road
Yep.
without
Yeah.
saying any names? I mean, I'm gonna give a quick brief history here. In 2015, I started arguing with people on Facebook about politics, and I wasn't trying to argue. I would see somebody would say something that I knew was incorrect, and I
Yeah.
legit was like, "Oh, that's not right. Let me show them that it's incorrect." And I would give them a link to a story, and I would try to pick like Fox News or something so they'd believe it. And like
Yeah.
it took like 2 or 3 years before I realized not once in the entire time that I was doing that did anybody ever say like, "Andy, thanks for the information. Like I didn't know that. I'm glad you showed me that."
And the
Never
whole time
once.
I was saying, like, you're stupid. You shouldn't be arguing with people on Facebook.
Probably. But I stopped by like 2018, 2019. The last
Hmm.
political thing I put on any social media was right after January 6th. And I put a post up where I was saying like, "Hey, not all Republicans are cool with what happened yesterday. Like, there are Republicans that aren't down with that." And I put that and I got hate in the comments for that. And that was the last thing. So that would have been January 7th, 2020 was the last time I put anything political on Facebook. And every now and then I see like somebody will post something where they're like our good buddy Kevin posts a lot of things where I'm just like, "Oh, like that's wrong. I want to get into the comments and say something." And I'm not going to do it. Like I'm abstaining. And you called me or texted me a couple days ago and you were like, "Yeah, I'm in a Facebook argument with this girl." And I asked
Well,
you
it
what,
started with cost. I don't know. So I've realized something about myself is
okay.
I like to antagonize the antagonist.
Oh, we know this about you. You've admitted this about yourself. Like we know
If
this.
I see somebody being antagonized, I like to go after the other person.
Yeah.
And I tried that with our buddy Kevin
You like to
not too
try
long.
to you like to try to bully a bully. If you see somebody being a
Yeah,
bully,
yeah, yeah.
you like to step in and give them a piece of their medicine. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's my fault. I get it from my dad. I know this about myself and I just can't help myself. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
Um, so then that didn't work. Our buddy just kind of didn't say anything
He
after
just
my
ignored you.
comment.
Okay.
He just ignored me. So then, I don't know. I was on Facebook again and I kept seeing this one girl just keep posting like just shit posts. And I was just
So,
like,
for the record, I know this girl. I'm not friends with her on Facebook, and I told you this already. But like, one time I've spoken to her in the last 10 years, like it went from zero to like, "Are you trying to tell me that Donald Trump didn't win the 2020 election?" And like, it was definitely rigged, and Joe Biden and China and satellites from Italy, and like she had all, and I was just like. Immediately, I was like, "Oh, I'm not going down this road," and I got out of it. I got out of it so quick. So like, she started to go down that road, and I was like, good to see you, bye," and I just left without. I didn't want to go down that road. So that's the last time I talked to this girl. What did this argument? What topic was this on originally? Because I know where she took it, but where was this
I don't
originally?
remember. I don't remember. I remember that she had posted something and then somebody commented on her post. And then I intentionally misconstrued his comment and said, "Yes, let's lock up DJT, put him in
But
jail or something like that."
but
And
what
then
was
it just went down this complete rabbit hole where she like immediately, as soon as she kind of chimed in, she immediately started going into deportations.
Well, so you brought up deportations first. From you sent me some screenshots, and you
Okay, did I?
listed
Yeah.
you listed a bunch of things that how Trump was awful, and one of them was deportation. So you opened the door. That's your mistake. Okay. Right
Okay.
now, the number one subject that they have that they can beat you on is immigration. Like any,
I don't think they can beat me on that. I
but
don't think so.
I'm telling you, it's your least strong subject to argue on. There's a lot of better. Like for her, she
They're,
was probably
they're passionate about it, right? They're
she was
passionate about
she was probably looking for the first opportunity she had to like stir it towards immigration, and you gave
it.
it
Yeah,
to her. And at that
gave it.
point, you're in her world now, buddy.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
has owned you ever since. And what you should have done is
Well, the
immediately
good thing
steered.
is I'm not a fan of Obama. Like
Okay.
I could throw Obama on the bus for his drone strikes, right? Like
Here,
whatever. Like I think he was a good president, but drone strikes, and now me and you both found out together that
yeah.
Obama deported people without any due process as well.
Uh,
So
I've looked into it, and I wouldn't say it was without any due process. It was with like the bare legal amount of due process to say like they were basically checking the boxes and making it to where they couldn't be sued about it. Is what it appears they were doing.
yeah,
It was definitely not due process as it was intended. But real quick, we kind of talked about this, but for our viewers, like we talk about the bubbles all the time, like. There are several things where we get really mad about what Trump is doing. And then we'll talk to a MAGA type person and they haven't even heard about it. And we're like, how did you not hear about this? Well, you know what? We are susceptible to that too, because I guarantee you, hardcore right wingers know all about Obama and his lack of due process when deporting people. Me and you had never
yep,
even heard that before because we're
nope,
sheltered from it. We're in a
nope.
bubble just like they are. So whenever you go into one of your like, God, MAGA is so dumb because they didn't know this. Hey, we're equally susceptible, and who knows what
Sure,
else we haven't heard
sure,
about. So
sure,
yeah.
sure.
Anyhow,
And so I had to apologize for that, and then
okay.
I kind
Oh,
of
wait,
went
wait, wait,
down.
hold on. You had to apologize because without doing any research, she
Yeah,
she said Obama deported this many people without
yeah, and I
without due
completely just
process,
said I
and
just
you
out of instinct was
instinctively,
like
nope,
Obama.
no, he
Yeah,
did not, and you
yeah,
didn't check that at all. And okay,
yeah.
so anyhow, that's where we're
Well,
at.
I just thought it was some MAGA like conspiracy theory or
Yep.
whatever that
Okay.
she's spewing. Anyway, so then now I went down the religious rabbit hole. And
Okay.
I quote, so deportation, like, treat, I quoted like two different Matthew verses that were
Okay.
like, treat people like you want to be treated, or, treat your enemies with respect, or,
Okay.
those
Okay.
things. Anyway, um, dude, she totally deleted those posts. She called me out on being um anti-religious. What did she say? Dude, she totally went down and like was like, you shouldn't even be able to be a Christian and blah blah. Like she
Yeah.
went down hard on like me quoting Bible verses to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
then and like she also in the same thread, she said that she brought up some guy who was selling fentanyl and it killed a bunch of children or something.
I
And
think.
and and the thing is she keeps bringing up that I want these criminals
Yeah.
in our country, right? And I never said once that I wanted to keep the criminals. I keep reiterating that I want like the good, hardworking, you know, um,
So and she's
culturally driven, family oriented, like immigrants to stay in our country and to be a part of our country. And
oh yeah,
uh
I didn't turn on my fire.
so yeah, so that's where we're at now. So she deleted some posts and I've got a big long post that I've worked on and it's actually invigorating me.
You're sending like you're doing like multiple drafts and proofreading it before you post it.
Yeah, but she just
Hold on.
also posted something
Can
and
I
I
say
keep
this real
getting
quick?
her. Yeah,
What
go
you
ahead.
don't realize is that she's kind of arguing semantics with you here because she's saying, well, you're for these criminal illegal aliens, and you're saying, no, I don't have a problem with them being deported. But what you don't realize is that in her mind, every illegal immigrant is a criminal because they came into this country improperly, which is a crime. So there is, and our buddy Kevin has said this, but there is no such thing as a non-criminal illegal immigrant, is their mind. That so that's where she's coming from. Is if they're here illegally, then they are a criminal. And you're saying, well, no, like that's the difference you guys are having right now.
So is it illegal to cross that border?
It's a civil penalty. It's a civil infraction, not a criminal
Okay.
infraction.
So it's
But
not criminal. So they're
it's
not really
civil.
illegal.
Yeah, I
We
this is
can't even say illegal. They're actually
that was
just not citizens.
the closest I came to Facebook arguing recently was our buddy Kevin said there's no such thing as a undocumented immigrant or whatever that is not a criminal. And that was his opening post. And then everybody was arguing. And I wanted to hit him with that. I wanted to hit him with like, hey, crossing the border, legally is a civil violation. I damn near I got to the point where I'd hit comment and I was getting ready to type. And then I was like, no, don't do it. This is not going to go well. And I backed out. But that was the one time that I almost got into it.
Okay.
But then you're arguing semantics, and there's not going to be a winner there. Like
But
it's
at this point, she's calling me names and stuff. So I'm just
yeah
like, at the end of this, I was just like, I made my points and I said Donald Trump is the third worst president the United States has ever had. And if you want to continue this conversation, you need to
yeah.
stop,
So
calling
I
names and yeah, being
I don't
disrespectful.
I don't mean this as in any kind of racial terms. This is going to be racial, and I apologize in advance if it's taken out of context, which it's going to be. Um, but she is a cute, thin little white girl, but she
Hmm.
argues like a large black woman that has no fear of like being confrontational in public. Like the one time that I got into it with her, not even into it, the one time it was like we were kind of talking, and then a big group of people around us, and as soon as we hit like the election was stolen stuff, like she started to get like loud and like wanted people to turn and see what was happening, and I was just like, whoa, like I don't dig that, and I think she's doing the same thing to you in the little comment war you guys are having right now, where she is throwing haymakers. This is a
Oh yeah.
performance.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah,
she's calling me out for not being religious enough, or my values are off and all this
yeah.
stuff. And it's just like, oh wow. Like, yeah, she's just throwing haymakers. So I'm just being the calm individual. I also think I'm just gonna start flirting with her on other photos and stuff. Just to kind of throw a curveball in there.
So
Just be like, damn, looking good, that bikini there.
you know what negging is? So it'll look like
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
just you were negging her to start off with.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Okay. Well, Anyhow, I highly recommend that if you're going to keep doing this, stay off of the topic of immigration. It's just not, it's your worst subject to argue about.
Yeah.
Immediately spin it to a lot of other things you can argue about. Immigration's not the one. So, anyhow, this concludes our TED Talk on arguing on Facebook. I hope that all of our listeners don't do it.
So much fun. Do it.
No,
I,
I, there was a period where I enjoyed reading like people going at it in the comments, and now when I see it, I just blow right by it. Like I don't want to
yeah.
see political on Facebook. Like if I want to see, for me, Twitter is political. I go to Twitter and I have a what do you call it? A burner account on Twitter that like is not my name or my picture, and I retweet things that I like, and I don't think anybody but you follow me on there. You might not even follow me. Oh yeah, 'cause you're not on
Hmm.
Twitter anymore. Nobody
I'm on
follow.
there
Yeah.
somewhere, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know who's following me, but it's nobody I know like from high school or from my life. So like that's where I go for politics. When I go to Instagram or Facebook, I don't want to see politics at all. So that's how I do it.
Speaking of Twitter or X, like I haven't heard from Elon in a while.
I heard from Elon today.
No, no way.
Yeah, we're gonna jump stories real quick. I had this for the end, but I want to talk about this real quick. Then we'll get into
Okay.
Israel and Iran. I saw a tweet. First thing I saw when I woke up this morning was a tweet from somebody, and I don't know who this is. None of this appears to be verified yet. It's getting retweeted a lot. I don't know how true any of this is. Okay, there is a guy working in the White House, and his name is Sergio Gore. Gor is his last name. And the only reason I know about this guy is he is the director of White House presidential personnel. So basically, he like vets everybody that Trump might hire to work in the West Wing, basically. And he came up recently because Elon's buddy that he was trying to get to be the director of NASA. It looked like he was going to be put up for a director of NASA, and then Trump pulled the plug on that. And a lot of people were saying that Elon was pissed because it was this Sergio Gore guy that he's the one that basically got in Trump's ear and said, "Hey, this you don't want this guy. This guy's a former Democrat." Whatever all the reasons were. So that's where I
Hmm.
learned. That's where I learned the name Sergio Gore. That's crucial because now we know Elon has a bone to pick with him. That's why I want to say I don't know how verified this is. But the first tweet I see is somebody saying that Sergio Gore claims he was born in Malta. It appears through this guy's investigative research that his real name is Sergei Goryachev. I can't. It's a Russian name, and he was
Oh,
born in
that's Russia.
born in the Soviet Union. Okay, they have a lot of facts about him. The tweet that I saw was this investigative reporter putting all this out, and then Elon quote tweeted it and said, "The plot thickens." Dot 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 dot. And I'm like, hold on. And now it's been more people are sharing this story all day long. And it's like, hold on, do we really have like and it turns out this guy has not submitted his paperwork for his formal background check. That's supposed to be done on day one. He's been there for 5 months and they have not done any kind of a background check on him. He said he was born in Malta. It appears he was not. Who is this guy that's vetting Trump's people? Is this a Russian? Like, is this a spy? Like, what are we doing here? So I've seen it retweeted all day long, but also like we know Elon has a bone to pick with this guy. So like how much of this is Elon's doing or Elon amplifying some crazy kooks out there that maybe this isn't true. I don't know if we can trust it yet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this could be, but anyhow, but so
The
Elon's back now.
misinformation campaign on Twitter.
I think it could be, but or it could be true. I really like that's what sucks is I saw a lot of people tweeting it today that were verified, and I hate how Elon is selling the Twitter verifications now because like it used to be that if holy shit, this is a verified account, this is a real reporter, this must be true.
Hmm.
But now you see that it's getting posted by verified accounts, and it's anybody. You have no clue who it is. So I don't know if
Why don't
that's
we
true
have
or
a
not.
verified account?
We should. We'd have to pay $8 a month. I'm not paying $8 a month to
$8
use
a month?
Twitter. For
We
Twitter.
do have an Instagram account now, though.
Oh God, don't tell people about this. Yeah, we have an Instagram account. When you sent me that, I was like, please don't send this to our friends. Like, please, please, please don't send this to our friends. So thank you. I saw that the people you were following were not our friends. So thank you for that. Anyhow, we got to talk a little Israel Iran right off the bat. Okay. First of all, I don't know that me and you have really chatted in the last couple of days, even like off the pod about this. But what are your thoughts? What is your percentage chance that we get into this war? Is it 100? Is it less?
I think Trump is weighing the scales right now, and I
Okay.
think I think he's going to be a populist on this. I
So you
think if his base says no, we are not doing this war, he's not going to do it. If his base is like, yeah, let's go to war, he's going to do it. I think he's weighing his thing
okay?
right now. I also think that Netanyahu might have him by the balls. Like I think he might just go to war just because Netanyahu says so. I did see something, a quick headline that was the EU backs the war with Iran now.
So the EU had, I don't know if it was the EU, it was certain like Macron and Keir Starmer, the PM for Great Britain. A lot of them had meetings with an Iranian official today, I think. I think it was earlier this
Oh,
morning, and it was kind of negotiations to see. And apparently, Iran made it very clear, like we're not giving up our civilian program, like our civilian nuclear program. Like we're keeping that. That is our red
yeah.
line, and that's been the deal the whole time. And apparently, like because they stuck with that, like there's no hope for like the only America and
Well,
Israel.
shouldn't they be able to have nuclear, a civilian nuclear program?
You want to know what's interesting? You know where their civilian nuclear program came from?
Where?
Who helped them start it?
Us?
America in
Yeah.
1956. I If we're gonna talk Israel and Iran, I wanted to know a little history on it, so I watched. They used to have the Shah of Iran, and he was backed by America. He was our business partner pretty much, and
I mean,
um, anyhow, he started getting a little too out of sync with Muslim practices. So the Ayatollah, who is still in charge, um, there was a long drawn out thing, but the bottom line is he basically led a revolution eventually in like 79, and the Shah got out. The Shah got out, went to a different country, and ended up dying of natural causes a couple years later. The Shah's son is in America right now, and Fox News and Trump are trying to prop him up as like he's the rightful heir to the throne. So
oh,
they want to topple the government and then have the Shah's son go in and be like the head. He's been given statements and stuff. Anyhow, but while we were cool with Iran, we helped them start their civilian nuclear program like way back in 1956. So
right.
it just
Well,
kind of.
it's interesting. It's interesting how this started off as like they have nukes and or they're days away from creating a nuke and we need to get these nukes. And now it's like we need a whole regime change. Like,
So here's the thing: is our government is not said that yet out loud. Now it's definitely the way it's headed, but like they keep acting like all they got to do is get rid of their nukes, and if they're not willing to do that, we're going to get rid of their nuclear program for them.
I
But
think Ted Cruz said that the other day, didn't he?
well, Ted Cruz said we're going to get to that in a minute. Ted Cruz said a lot that he immediately tried to backtrack on.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was a shit show of an interview. But we'll get to that in a minute. Um,
Dude.
Real quick, the part that's concerning me the most about this Israel Iran thing is Tulsi went in front of Congress back in March and said that the intelligence, she's the director of national intelligence. If Trump doesn't trust her, he needs to get her out of there and put somebody in charge that he does trust. But she went
Hmm.
on 3 months ago, she went in front of Congress and said that the intelligence community concludes that they're not working towards a nuclear weapon. The leader, the Ayatollah, has not given them an order to work towards it, and that they're following what we've asked them to do, the international community. So she said that. Israel has a different opinion, and Israel says that they are. At first, just the other day, Netanyahu said a year or so, could be less than a year, but now he's on TV saying 2 weeks away. They're two, so I don't believe
Yeah.
any of this shit.
Well, he's been saying they're a year away
Since
since like the 90s, right?
1992, yeah. So
92.
that's
Okay.
how long it's been. They've been a year away for 30 years.
It's
Anyhow,
just total BS. Netanyahu just wants to go to war with them because he wants a land grab. That's right.
well, it's a couple, and now let's always remember that Iran says all the time, including like in their parliament or Congress, whatever they have, they love to say death to Israel. They tell everybody all the time that they would love to blow Israel off the face of the earth, and that's a fact we cannot forget in this whole thing. Okay,
Yeah.
very,
Yeah, yeah.
very, very key
And death
point
to
in this.
America. They say death to America
Well,
too,
they
don't
don't
they?
like us because we support Israel, and
Yeah.
also we definitely we propped up a guy that they didn't like for a long time. So a lot of times when these countries hate us, it's like, why don't they like us? And then if you do a quick dive through history, you're like, oh, I see why they don't like us. Like they kind of have a reason to not like us, but I won't go through the history here. But we got our intelligence community saying they're not working towards a nuke, and Israel says they are working towards a nuke. Which one do you think Trump's going to side with?
Well, this is the thing is I think we should trust our own intelligence agencies
You think that?
and
Who,
not Israel's. I think Israel has another agenda. And for some reason, being like growing up in a Republican area, like I've always heard that Israel has the best intelligence, right?
okay, we've always
But
heard that.
I'm just not buying that anymore. I just
They
don't think I think they have good intelligence, but I think their intelligence is probably propped up on the US's intelligence.
what if they do have good intelligence, but they're also just making shit up? Like, what if they really know the truth, but it's like, hey, let's just say this because and a lot of people have been bringing this up. Netanyahu is in a position very similar to where Trump was, where if Netanyahu loses his next election, very good chance he ends up in jail. Like he's got a bunch of corruption charges, so he's
Yeah.
running to stay in jail. And just like that clip at the beginning of Trump talking about Obama, like he's going to try to start a war with Iran in order to avoid, getting unelected. What do you call it? Getting beaten in
Mhm.
the next election. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but the question I had for you though was, who do you think Trump's going to believe? Not who we should believe. Who do you think Trump's going to believe between Israel and our own intelligence community?
Who's put more money into his bank account?
Okay, that's a good answer. Israel.
That's who he's gonna believe.
So, real quick, I got a video for you, real quick, to get us started on this. Check this out, real quick. This was in front of Congress. I can't remember what channel it's on. All
Before
right,
we go to that, so
okay.
does the U.S. Intelligence Department need to start paying Trump to listen to them?
They don't
Is
have
that how
enough
we have
money.
to?
They can't
We got to
compete with
start
they can't
buying
compete with
Trump
APAC.
coin and Trump
Yeah,
cell phones?
yeah, they can't compete with APAC at all. So,
Huh.
all right, let's
Okay.
check this out.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003.
How close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
So you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon. Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Yeah, so he's just completely siding with Netanyahu and disregarding Tulsi Gabbard.
What
Tulsi Gabbard.
we've always said, he goes with his gut. In that first clip with him, he said, "I don't care what she says. I think they are." That's basically what he said. And it's like, yeah, he's got a hunch that they are.
Has any other president ever said our national security, our national intelligence is wrong?
Trump in 2018 in Helsinki with Putin.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
the only other where he said our intelligence community says they did it. Putin said they didn't. I don't see why he'd lie about that. So that's the only other time I can think of.
So he has disregarded our national intelligence for Netanyahu and Putin. And Netanyahu and Putin are both at war right now.
Yeah. And the reason you have a director of national intelligence is there's a lot of intelligence out there. Some of it you can believe, some you can. And like your director, your DNI is Tulsi Gabbard. She's supposed to be sifting through that and deciding, like, okay, here's the stuff that really matters. This is what the president needs to see. And then she puts that into the presidential daily briefing. Okay. If Trump's not, remember, we found out recently that he's only had like 4 or 5 briefings in the 5 months he's been in office. And she was talking about trying to do it as a Fox News broadcast, basically, so that he would pay attention to him. So he's not listening to her. He's had 4 or 5 briefings since January. He needs to just get rid of her. If he doesn't trust what she's saying, like that's an important job. The president needs to be getting the intelligence. So if he doesn't trust Tulsi, then get her out of there and you would think if she had any self-respect, she would have quit by now with what's happened over the last week. Also, real quick, they had a meeting at Camp David last weekend to go over the different options they had war plan wise, and they did not invite Tulsi. They didn't invite her. And if there's 3 or 4 people that definitely need to be there, the DNI is one of them, and they just iced her out. Like she's on the outs. So
I've heard that they're icing out Pete Hegseth too.
I don't know about that one. I hadn't heard that one.
I just listened to something about that where they're icing out Tulsi and Pete Hegseth and just not keeping them in the loop of what's going on with Iran and it.
He's the Secretary of Defense. You can't make war plans without him. Okay, well,
I don't know. I don't know. On a similar note, my Facebook news, has mentioned that Trump has negotiated a peace treaty in the bloody war between Rwanda and the Republic of Congo that has been ongoing since 2022. Another
yeah.
proud moment for the bright city on a hill, the president of peace.
Is this the one where he went on to list all the times he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize?
Oh no, this is the girl I'm arguing with. She posted that.
Oh, well, I
I
think
wanted to bring it up.
the longer version of that tweet is him then going on to explain all the times that he should have gotten the Peace Prize, but he didn't. I don't have
Oh,
the tweet in front of me, but
did
yeah.
he actually negotiate a peace treaty?
That just came out today, and nobody knew we were even working on that. So he claimed he negotiated the ceasefire between India and Pakistan like a month ago, and then the head of India came out afterward and was like, no, he had nothing to do with that. Like we worked that out ourselves. He claimed he has a trade deal with China, and China's like, no, we do not have a trade deal. It's who knows? Maybe he did. If he did, they were working on it in secret. I didn't even know those two countries were at war, to be honest with you.
I had
So
no idea either.
they very well could have been. We don't in America. We don't know what's happening in a lot of the world.
Well, I feel like Rwanda and the Republic of Congo are always at war with,
Probably,
I don't know if
yeah.
it's with each other or with other countries, surrounding countries, but
I saw that. Yeah.
yeah.
So hey, real quick, to finish up on Tulsi. So Tulsi, for the last 3 days, people have been basically saying, "Hey, is she going to quit?" Like Trump is saying she's wrong, this and that. He clearly doesn't respect her opinion. So everybody was wondering what Tulsi was doing. Apparently, Tulsi was calculating which way to go here. Like I think she sat back and she was trying. Okay, if I quit, do I have a career? Do I go into if she goes back into podcasting, like the left hates her, and then if she quits, Trump's going to turn on her. So now the right's going to hate her too. So if she quits, she doesn't have a home, left or right. Like the Dave Smiths of the world would like her, but that's probably about it.
Hmm.
So she made her decision tonight. Tulsi Gabbard tweeted just this evening. This is real quick, you saw the clip of her at the beginning of her saying the intelligence community does not believe that they're working for a nuclear weapon. You remember that? You just watched that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
totally. Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
this is how her tweet starts. The dishonest media is intentionally taking my testimony out of context and spreading fake news as a way to manufacture division. America has intelligence that Iran is at the point that it can produce a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks or within weeks to months if they decide to finalize assembly. President Trump has been clear that it can't happen, and I agree. So she's saying that the media is taking her testimony and twisting it out of context. And she then tweeted like a with that was like a 2 minute video, and it wasn't out of context. Like, and
No.
we said that me and you were talking about this the other day. Any country that has nuclear, if they decided to then try to turn it into a weapon, they probably do it pretty quick. And that was the thing she snuck in there was like if they decided to do it, they could do it in weeks to months. But your thing is that they have not decided to do it. Like they're not working
Yeah,
towards one. So yeah,
right.
she's saying this is all the media, and it's like how stupid do you think we are? Like we've all seen the testimony of you. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I mean, the fact that she's going with the fake news is just astounding to me. I cannot stand when people say, "Oh, it's fake news." Oh, so everything that CNN says is fake and you can't listen to anything they say? Like they
Yeah,
get stuff wrong and they make retractions.
that's here's
And sometimes they do news reporting, what is it? Lying by omission or whatever.
lying about omission is big, but
I would say that's all the news stations, but like you still have to like listen to what Tulsi Gabbard said on
mm,
video in front of Congress, word for word, and you can't say that they took her out of context.
well, but that's the thing is all she has to do is say that it was the dishonest media, and a lot of MAGA is just gonna be like, yeah, the media is lying about this, and like, good luck. Try to show them the clip of her. They're not gonna watch it, and if they'll say it's AI or whatever. So
Sure.
yeah, it's a losing argument. Anyhow, I will say this. There are people on it's more like the libertarian left, like Tulsi, Dave Smith, who you wouldn't call him a MAGA person, but he was behind Trump in the last election. Steve Bannon, Tucker, who we're going to talk about in a minute. Like there is it's a vocal minority. Like they actually did polling on this, and like I think it was like 65% of Republicans are totally fine with attacking Iran. So the majority of them are okay with it. But just like anything else in politics, those are the people that are quiet and aren't on Twitter or Facebook bitching all the time. That we see the vocal minority, and they're very loud. And so we think like, oh, all Republicans think this. No, no, not all of them, but just the loud ones. But Steve Bannon went and had a lunch with Trump like 2 days ago, and apparently spent the whole lunch trying to convince him not to attack Iran. It's a trap. Don't do it. It'll sink your presidency. Tucker is clearly doing it. Dave Smith called for Trump's impeachment the other day on Breaking Points.
Yeah.
And said he regrets voting for him. But
Good.
I think we should all. I think you're right. I think Trump doesn't care what the right move to do is, like politically or for humanity or anything. He cares about what the right move is for him, polling wise. Like, yeah,
Money. No, he doesn't. I don't think he cares about polling anymore. I think he cares about money.
He still wants to be loved. I think he really wants to be loved, and we keep forgetting that. But like more than anything, he wants people to like him. Anyhow,
Yeah,
whether
he does. He does want that.
he does.
He wants that little. I think he wants money just a little bit more.
But I think he's playing it out right now of if I do attack, this small but loud group is going to be mad at me. If I don't attack the bigger group, but they're quieter, are they going to forgive me? And I think he's trying to weigh that out right now. If he manages to not get into this war, me and you.
Wait, who wants him to go to war?
Like 65% of Republicans, according to the poll they just did, are totally fine with going to war. But like I said, those are the quiet people. Those are the people that aren't online.
Fine with going to war, or like pro, let's go to war?
I think if Trump says we had to do it, they're going to be like, yep, Trump said we had to do it, so we had to do it. Like they'll fully back him.
They're just fine backing Trump no matter what,
Yeah.
because that's what they do is back
If
Trump.
Trump
no
said
matter
we
what.
needed to, then clearly we needed to. That's going to be their mindset. Trump
Okay,
wouldn't
yeah,
lie. Yeah.
That makes
So,
sense. Yeah. That makes
anyhow,
sense.
yeah. So I'm going to say this. If a month from now this is over and we never dropped any bombs or got into this, me and you both have to give Trump props. Like, because there is a big group trying to push him into this war right now. Like senators, people around him.
No, I'm not giving him any props. No.
No, I will give him
I'm
props.
gonna give him hate for starting this near war.
It'd be for pulling us out of the Iran nuclear treaty back in 2018. Because if we were still in that, none of this would be a problem.
I mean, he started this whole thing anyway. Like, this is his whole fault. This is all his fault. Like, that we're even talking about war right now. So, no, I'm not giving him props. This is like the tariffs. Oh, he put the tariffs on, and then he pulls the tariffs off. Oh, look at the economy. The economy's great because you pulled the tariffs back off.
You're right on the tariffs one. On this one, like I think here I'm gonna say something you're gonna disagree with here. But if we were in this exact same scenario right now and Kamala was in office and and Israel said, "Hey, we're going to war and we need you to come with us," I think she might have done it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
So if Trump manages to not do it, I'm giving him props for not doing it. Okay. Hey, with all the donors, with the Adelsons and all the rich donors that are Jewish that give him money and are wanting him to be on Israel's side. So if he doesn't do it, I'm giving him props. You don't have to, but I think it'll be amazing. Now, I think
the Adelsons are my least favorite people. Like, when they bought the Mavs, like, I can't be a Mavs fan anymore.
And they
like,
traded
I've been a Dallas Mavericks fan all my fucking life, and I can't be a Mavs fan with the Adelsons in charge.
I was willing to look past that until they traded Luka, and now
yeah, well, that was the line. So now I got to find another team. I got to find another basketball team.
Dude, I'm a Thunder fan now, and we're in the finals in Game 7 of Sunday night. So,
well, that's your track record, jumping on the bandwagon when somebody's winning.
I live in Oklahoma now.
Well, yeah. But if it was Miami, you would jumped on that bandwagon too.
Agree. not Miami, but there are teams I could have hopped on, but never Miami. Anyhow, sticking with Iran, but moving on to some different people here. Have I told you what the thing I hate most about Donald Trump is? Like what I really despise about him?
His hair.
Nope. Every now and then, that asshole makes me say weird shit like, you know what? Laura Loomer's right. Or you know what? Steve Bannon's got a good point over here. Like, I keep catching myself agreeing with
Tucker Carlson is looking good.
Dude,
his arguments are fantastic today.
Dude, I watched Tucker and Ted Cruz, and I didn't see the whole thing yet. I've seen most of it. But there were several points where I was like, get him, Tucker. And I was shit. Like, me too. Like, I can't believe that I'm over here like cheering on Tucker Carlson.
I mean, but that's how grotesque Ted Cruz is, right?
It is. But also the whole tribalism thing, like there could be someone we totally disagree with, like Donald Trump. This is a great example. Every now and then Donald Trump does try to do something good, like something that's not a bad thing for America. And like when he does that, the left tends to be like, oh, we hate this too. And it's like, well, hold on. Why do you hate this? And it's like, well, because Trump's doing it. And it's like, this is actually a good thing. And like both sides, like Biden did things that were good for America and the right instinctively hate. So both sides are equally bad at this. So, but every now and then there's going to be somebody that you totally disagree with almost all the time, and they're going to have a good point. And when they do, no matter what side it's on, you should feel okay saying like, "Hey, that's a good point. I agree with that." Yeah, I still disagree with everything else he says, but that was a good point right there. So, in a couple of these next clips, I got to say Tucker Carlson is making some excellent points. So check this. This is from the Tucker Carlson Network. I only got two. There were some good ones, but I got two from this podcast. Check this out real quick.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
What
predominantly Shia. Okay,
it's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay,
actually,
I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
Who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay. First of all, I love how smug Tucker Carlson is in this moment. Only in this moment. But against Ted Cruz, be as smug as you possibly can. And Ted Cruz was completely thrown off. I watched this whole interview, and the whole interview, Ted Cruz was uncomfortable because all Tucker did was ask him questions, and every time he didn't know an answer to a question or had like a bad answer, Tucker went in and went deep. And like, I feel like the Republicans are getting relaxed on their like policy, their talking points. They're just off. They don't have their shit together.
So a couple different things here. I think that Ted Cruz has been one of the Republicans that he only does friendly interviews. He has his own podcast. He goes on Fox News. He doesn't get challenged a lot. There are some Republicans that are not afraid to go on MSNBC or CNN and mix it up. Ted Cruz is not one of those. And I think he walked into this thinking it was going to be a friendly interview and was shocked to find out that Tucker was going to hold his feet to the fire. Now, what you were saying about Tucker's smugness, was that the word you used? He's smug?
Yeah.
So
he's very smug.
What I relate it to, when me and you were kids in the 90s, when the Dallas Cowboys were awesome, way back then, Terrell Owens played for the 49ers and then the Eagles. And I hated him. I hated everything about him. And then he became a Dallas Cowboy. And all the same the shit talking he did, I was like, ooh, I love it. And it's like, if he's on your team, it's awesome. If you're going against him, it sucks. So even though Tucker was not on the left there at all, the fact that he was taking it to Ted Cruz, I agree with you. His smugness was making me giggle. I was like, oh, this is so awesome to watch. Second thing, I got a couple points on this. The questions Tucker was asking there wasn't just a gotcha moment. How many people live there? What are the demographics? Like, do you know why that's important in the context of the Middle East? Like, do you have any memory of Iraq and how that cluster went?
Yeah. And apparently Iran is more mountainous, higher elevation. They have more people. Like what else? There was something else that was like detrimental to like bringing troops in and trying to.
So there's two massive deserts that are death traps, and then there's mountain ranges on like three sides of the country and a body of water on the other side. So it would be hard to invade on land. Now, if we were going to send troops in, it would be like helicopters or the tilt rotor Ospreys, like those bringing troops in. We wouldn't come across a border and land. But the whole problem with Iraq is we just thought like, oh, once we get Saddam out of there, the people will elect the government and everything will be fine. And what we didn't realize is there's like 3 or 4 distinct different like sects of Muslimism, the Shiites and the Sunnis. I don't even want to pretend I know all of them, but like they hate each other. And like Saddam, through his evil rule, was keeping them all in check. So as soon as Saddam was gone, it was civil war, and it's pretty much been that way in Iraq ever since. And if we're going to go in and topple a dictator, we have to have a basic understanding of what the population is, what their background is, what their religion is. And like, just based off what Ted Cruz is saying there, I don't think we learned our lesson. I hope maybe somebody in the government is paying attention to that. But that was a lesson we should have learned from Iraq. And it's starting to become clear that, like, we want to topple the Ayatollah. We want regime change. What do we want to replace it with? We don't know.
We don't know. You know what is interesting that just kind of popped into my head was like, I remember like when we had buddies going over there to Iraq, I remember they couldn't drink because it was Iraqi law that you couldn't drink. But we're an invading country. We're invading a country and we're still paying attention to their laws. Like,
yeah,
I didn't understand. I still don't understand why if we're going in, we're starting war, we're killing their people, why we're,
so here's the thing.
Adhering to their no alcohol rules.
So those are lessons learned from Vietnam, because the way we initially went into Vietnam was like you were saying, like, oh, fuck you, we're the invading force. But like really, we were liberating Vietnam. We were liberating South Vietnam from the north. And when we went into Iraq, so here's the thing. It's all semantics, it's all wordplay, but we were liberating the people of Iraq. We were on the people's side. We're trying to get rid of this murderous dictator. The people didn't want us there, but the message was we are there as a liberation force. And if we did happen to go, which I hope we don't hit a point of troops on the ground in Iran, but we would do the same thing. We would say we're there to liberate the people from the oppressive rule. They don't want us. I keep seeing video of people down in Tehran that hate America. They don't want us there. They're very happy. They want us to leave them alone. Anyhow, at the end, also, Ted Cruz with the whole like, we are striking them. We're striking them now. And then he tries to backtrack and says, well, Israel's striking them with our support. Tucker was right. We've been very clear. We've been telling Iran, do not strike us. We have nothing to do with the offensive stuff. We're only helping with the defensive stuff. We're helping shoot down the missiles coming in, but we are not doing anything offensively. And Ted Cruz either just screwed up and said the wrong thing, or he slipped up and said the truth. I don't know which one it is, but kind of a big
it kind of sounded like he slipped up and said the truth.
I don't know.
Which would be my initial instinct on that one. Right?
Also, I'm going to mess this up, but Ted Cruz's like director of communications is a former AIPAC lobbyist, and his wife used to work. The lobbyist's wife currently works in our intelligence community. So the whole thing where Israel and AIPAC and all that they're all involved in our government. So if you wonder why he's so pro-Israel, it might have something to do with that, or it might be religious.
Well, he's always been pro-Israel, and you know why he's always pro-Israel, and all the Republicans are pro-Israel, and all the Democrats are all pro-Israel, and everybody in the House and the Congress, almost, besides like Bernie Sanders and AOC and a handful of people.
Before you say it, can we let Ted... Oh, no, so it's not... I thought you were going to say it. It's not just the money. It is the money. But there's another reason why, as a good Christian, you have to be pro-Israel. And let's let Ted Cruz explain this to us real quick.
School. I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And
what does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what... Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
Go Tucker again.
The nation of Israel was founded in like 48, 49, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Maybe the early 50s.
Not the same borders.
Yeah, there was no nation of Israel back when, anyhow. But God has commanded, it's not even a request. God has commanded Christians to, what did he say? Treat them right. I can't remember exactly how I worded it. That's I got to tell you, I really don't like the intertwining of religion and politics. Like if you tell me you're passing a law or creating a new thing politically because of the Bible, I automatically don't like it. Like give me another reason.
Oh yeah.
Not because God
absolutely.
said so.
Not because God said so. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
especially Genesis, the Old Testament. I mean, how old is that book? And
It's pretty dark right there.
it's real dark. It's a dark book. The whole Bible is pretty dark.
Dude,
so here's where I was going to go with this.
Okay.
There's a whole group of senators and congressmen,
Christians.
Yeah,
it's not just in the government.
And the first one that I knew about was Mike Huckabee. So I'm going to call them the Mike Huckabee Christians.
There's a different name for them.
Okay. Well, they believe that once Israel completes its genocide of 19 different nations and completes the border of which it should complete, and God will come down to earth and pigs will fly and the rapture will happen and people will go to heaven or hell based on this whole thing. And he's got these people here who are, deporting grandmothers to Mexico, but they're on the side that are going to go to heaven and starting a genocide in Gaza and starving women and children. And they're the ones that when this happens are going to go to heaven.
And they want it to happen as soon as possible. Like they're eager for it to happen. Now, there is a name.
Makes no sense.
There's a name for these people. Okay. Now, me and you have talked about this, and I've seen people on like alternative media on YouTube talk about this. I've never seen it brought up on mainstream media about that angle on the rapture people. So I saw it the other night for the very first time, and they were talking about Tucker and Ted Cruz talking. This is a clip from CNN. It's real quick. Check this out.
I mean, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he's a rapture prepper. This guy's waiting for the rapture, just like Ted Cruz is. So you have this whole sect of MAGA that they support Israel because they want the Jews to be in Israel so that Jesus can come back for the rapture. And that's a very real thing that's in Congress. And that's not foreign policy. That's magical thinking.
So, Alex, what do you...
This world is not normal,
yeah.
man.
So rapture prepper is the correct term. Ted Cruz, Mike Johnson, and whoever else, they're rapture preppers. And it was funny because she said that, and I about spit my drink out. I was like, oh, somebody's talking about it. And then a Republican interrupted her right after that to say, like, well, the reason I support Israel. And then he gave a bunch, and then they just moved on. And I'm like, no, I want some of these Republicans on that panel to have to answer to what she's saying. And nobody had to. So she made that statement, and then it never really got brought back up again. But like, that's something we should all be talking about. Like there's a lot of people in our nation and government that want to bring the rapture on as soon as possible, which the rapture, as I understand it, is the end of the world. Like that's where we all die and you either go to heaven or hell, but the world ends at that point. I don't want to end it yet. I'm not done. I could do some more things before we end shit. So
yeah. And that doesn't mean we just trash the world too.
Yeah.
they just have no concept. They're like, we'll just trash the world because it's coming. Like it's coming. Yeah. We'll just sell it all these big businesses so they can make all this money, and we'll be living large. Yeah. And then when God comes down, he'll see my mansion and he'll see like, oh, that guy did well. Let's put him in heaven. No, it's what is it? It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich person to go to heaven.
Exactly.
So like all these politicians are going straight to hell.
Yeah, that's what like
Trump's going to hell. Like just under that one Bible verse, Trump's going to hell.
So, and that's the thing is, I know some people that are Donald Trump voters that are very religious and they live a good life. They follow the teaching of Jesus Christ. Like I know those people, they exist. Sure. I know a lot of people though that are MAGA voters and they claim to be Christians, but like the way they live their life is not at all what's going to get you into heaven. And if we ever hit that point of the rapture, like I want to be there to see their face when they find out they didn't make it. I just want to be like, oh shit, like all that shitty stuff you did your whole life, who would have known? It would have caught up to you.
When you meet them in hell, you're there to heckle them.
Yeah. Hey, dude, we're Catholic. I just got to go give my confession one last time, and I'm absolved.
Oh, that's
like,
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's the joy of being
Confess.
Catholic. You just got to say you're sorry.
Confess my sins.
You gotta tell a pedophile in a booth what you did wrong, and then you're good. That's all you gotta do. So the joys of Catholicism.
We're safe. We're safe.
So anyhow,
I should probably move closer to a Catholic church just in case.
I'm gonna make it my goal real quick. I want to find one of these people that believes like in that whole greater Israel and the rapture and all that. Like I want to find them, and I want them to come on the show, and I want them to explain it to us.
Dude, you don't. You're not. I've recommended several Republicans to come on this show with us, and you turned every single one of them down.
You've recommended two that I can think of, and they're both like the most argumentative. They would be a shit show of an episode.
And you think a rapture prepper is not going to be argumentative? And
But we're not going to argue. I just want them to explain it to me. We're not going to argue it at all. I just want them to explain to me what it is they believe and why they believe it. Kind of like when we have somebody on for crypto. I need somebody to explain crypto to me, and I'm not going to, I just want them to explain it to me. Same with the rapture. Like, I just want to learn.
we need to have my uncle on so we can. He could explain a lot of this stuff
Okay,
to us.
bring on Clarence. I'm ready. So anyhow, so that pretty much locks up Israel and Iran. Real quick. Trump initially they said he'd already approved a war plan and he was just deciding whether or not we were going to do it. And then he came out and Carolyn Levitt at the podium said she had a direct quote from President Trump, and basically he was saying that he's going to decide in 2 weeks. Which 2 weeks, man, it's everything. Jessica,
I mean,
Tarlov,
there's still decisions that were supposed to be made in 2 weeks from his previous administration.
So Jessica Tarlov, the girl on Fox News, the Democrat that's on the 5, she had a rant today where she was like, Trump told me he would be 2 weeks till he'd have a different plan than Obamacare 452 weeks ago. He said he was going to do this 412 weeks ago. And she was like, it's been infrastructure week since I was born. And Trump, hold on, I'm gonna take a second here. Trump was clearly watching the 5 today.
Nice.
Hold on. He does not like Jessica Tarlov. Where did that go? Why? This is Trump's tweet right after Jessica got done. Why does Fox News allow failed TV personality Jessica Tarlov to soil the 5? Her voice, her manner, and above all else, what she says are a disgrace to television broadcasting. I've had the best poll numbers I've ever had, and she is constantly saying the exact opposite. Anyhow, he does not like Jessica Tarlov. Apparently, I think this is
because she tells the truth.
Yeah, whatever she said today. I wish I should have pulled that clip, but yeah, she basically was making fun of him in the whole 2 weeks thing. But anyhow, he did come out tonight and he said, well, 2 weeks is the maximum amount of time. I might decide tomorrow, but he said he's definitely going to decide within 2 weeks, which makes me think that in 3 weeks we're all going to be sitting here going, what? He still hasn't decided.
Well, on a different thought, he could just be saying that just to trick them. And somebody was mentioning this, and he wants to do it this weekend so that it doesn't affect the markets as much. So we could see it tomorrow.
So
or tonight.
I thought that there was a good chance because the Friday afternoon news dump, any bad news dumping on a Friday afternoon, by Monday, a lot's happening. People forget about it. But like at 5 o'clock our time is when like overnight is there. So like if we were going to do it, it would have been like Friday at 5 or 6 o'clock. And we are now Friday at almost midnight my time. And it has not happened, which makes me think because he'd be dumb to wait till Saturday or Sunday to do it. Like you would do it right off the bat. So you have the most time possible. So that, like I said, he's missed his window if he was trying to do that, which that was a good theory. I just don't think he's going to do it. But yeah, and then the other thing, and I think this might be what's holding things up. We have this bunker buster bomb. This bomb, it's not nuclear, but it yields half like the explosion of the first nukes we dropped, like way back in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's half of the explosive power of those, so it's pretty big, and it supposedly can penetrate. I think I've seen 150 meters and I've seen 200 meters. The facility that we would use it on is called Fordo, and it is 300 meters under a mountain, which is like rock. Like apparently where this is tested is out in New Mexico and places where it's sand and like different types of limestone. I'm just making limestone. I don't know, something like that, but it's not rock like where this facility is. So there's a lot of doubts of if this thing could even get all the way down there. And they're saying, well, one person said, Well, we could just drop them repeatedly, just drop one after the other, and we'll just dig 100 meters at a time until we finally get to it. The
Yeah, but how
problem,
wide is the thing too?
I don't even know if they could hit the same hole twice. I don't know. So there's could we even really hit it? That's up in the air. This bomb has never been used in combat before. It's only been tested. We've never tried it anywhere outside
Well,
of
the
tests.
scariest thing that's up in the air is they're talking about using nuclear penetration on that.
So, and I think I saw that Trump said that we're not dropping a tactical nuke on that. But here's the thing: is if we get one of those bunker busters into this, it's a nuclear facility that's housing enriched uranium. So if we get one into there, there's a solid chance it could set off a nuclear reaction anyway, and it would basically be like setting off a dirty bomb. So if we actually hit it, it could set off a nuclear reaction. And then what's killing me is I'm gonna try to say this quickly, but like.
Hold on. Before we do, like, why don't we just like go, hey, Iran, we want to go in and inspect all of your facilities. We know you have this bunker underground. We want to inspect it. We want free reign in the whole thing. And like, if you don't do that, then we're gonna bomb you. Like, where's the ultimatum? Like,
so there's a group called the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Association, something like that. IAEA, and every country that has nukes, they're supposed to get inspected by them. And those people have been inspecting Iran. There's one country in the world there's one nuclear country in the world that will not let the IAEA come in and inspect their nukes. Guess what country that is?
Israel.
They're the only country that doesn't follow that rule. So part of the JCPOA, the Obama-Iran nuclear deal, was that they had extra inspections, basically, like not just the normal ones, but even extra by the UN and all kinds of stuff. And they were following that until Trump pulled them out, and now they're not doing the extra inspections. So we could, if we agreed, I guarantee you, if we said, okay, we're going to let you keep your civilian nuclear program, but you guys are going to be subject to extra inspections to make sure you're not cheating, they would sign that. They would sign that. No, that's the deal we already had with them.
Yeah.
But Trump said zero. They cannot have a nuclear program at all, and he's sticking to that.
Well, the first thing he said was they could have a civilian program, but then he backtracked because I forget why. Was it Israel?
No, he at first we got them to agree, and we were going to let them enrich it up to 3.67% or whatever.
Yeah.
And then everybody started making fun of Trump because they were like, "Oh, it's the same exact deal that Iran had, or that Obama had with them." And we Democrats got to start taking yes for an answer. He was going to get a deal, and instead we all had to make fun of him because it was like, "Oh, it's the same deal Obama had," and then he changed.
Yeah, let him make the deal and then wait 6 months before you start berating him about it.
Here's the thing. Anytime we go to war, I'm going to say all the way back to Vietnam, okay? Like, you have to sell the war to the American public. Like, before Iraq, like, we went into Afghanistan quick because 9/11 happened. But then we spent, like, a year trying to sell the public on why we need to go to Iraq. I don't know if you remember this. We were little, but Colin Powell, was at the United Nations holding up a little bag. If Iraq has this much yellow cake uranium, this is enough to blah, 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 blah. And, like, they were very convincing. They were trying to convince America that they had weapons of mass destruction and they were going to use them on us.
And not only America, but the rest of the world.
Yeah. But they sold the war in advance. Somebody, I think, got to Trump and pointed out that, like, hey, the reason polling and MAGA is not on your side on this is because you haven't done a good job of selling it yet. So I feel like this 2 weeks, instead of spending a year to sell it, Trump was like, all right, I'm going to give you 2 weeks, sell the war. So, like, Fox News, News Nation too. Like News Nation, I've always kind of liked because they are more in the middle and they are selling the war hard. But there are certain channels that you can tell are trying to convince people why we need to attack Iran, and they're in overdrive about it right now. And Ted Cruz is one of them.
CNN isn't like anti-war. It doesn't seem like
CNN is they're not doing it as bad as News Nation or Fox, but they're even doing it a bit too. And like they're trying to get the American public on board with why we need to do this, and I think that's why we.
And this is the Israel lobby, right? This is Israel money in our news media. I think
it's also like war is ratings. I hate to say that, but like a good war is great for ratings.
Yeah, but how much money is coming from? What's the Israel lobby? The
AIPAC. I think AIPAC is giving money to the politicians. I
guarantee you they're paying off the journalists too.
They could be. But I think ratings has a lot to do with it. That's my point of view on it. So I think that's where we're at. Is Trump has given them a little bit of time to try to sell this war to the American public, and it's slowly working. You know who's selling it harder than anyone else? Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer is going after every MAGA person that says anything negative about attacking Iran. She is going after them. So, and that's I think I don't know if you saw, but Trump went after Tucker. Trump, and it wasn't that hard, but he kind of that was a message to everybody. Hey, if you dare go against me on this, I don't care who you are. I'm going to come after you. And
but it wasn't that bad. He didn't go after Tucker that bad, and he also said that Tucker called and apologized to him.
I think it was a shot across the bow. I think that was him just giving a warning shot to everybody, like, hey, don't cross me on this. So that's my thought on it.
I hope Tucker keeps going. I hope they all keep going. Dave Rubin's out. Like, let's get this. Let's pull some people to our side on this.
Yeah, Dave Smith, right? In his name.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, you said Dave Rubin.
Dave Smith. That's Smith.
Dave Rubin's another MAGA guy, but I'll bet he's on board with this. And that's what, like, it's really sad to see the ones that were very big on, like, no new wars, no Middle East wars, that are, because Trump said so, they're like, Tulsi is one of them now that she's flipped. Well, like,
I don't think it's just Trump. I think it's Netanyahu. I think it's the AIPAC. I think there's a lot of money being floated around to let Netanyahu do whatever he wants.
You know who else is floating money into this? The industrial military complex, because we go to war. That's so I mean, there's money back in all this. Yeah.
I was looking at the stocks today, and I was like, maybe I should put some money into
Raytheon and Lockheed Martin.
Point. Yeah. Lockheed was when I was looking. I was like, man, maybe I should just put some. I can't do it though.
It'd be scary. So anyhow, so that's all I got on Israel and Iran. I only have one more thing for tonight, and it's a quick one. But dude, do you remember a couple months ago when we were talking about the fact that Trump wanted to reopen Alcatraz?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he didn't get to do that because it would have turned out to be, they would have had to redo, like, the plumbing, the electrical, like, everything about that island would need to be redone. It would have cost too much money. The reason they shut it down in the first place is because it cost more per inmate than any other prison, like, ever. But Trump...
It's in San Francisco?
Yeah, no, not just just the cost to operate Alcatraz is enormous. So he very much liked the idea of having some kind of a super prison that you can't escape, though. Like, which we have super prisons. None of them are islands, and people don't escape from them. But anyhow, dude, if there's one state that could come to the rescue here and help Trump out, what state do you think it is?
Oh, Florida.
Florida to the rescue. Now it's not Alcatraz, but it's the next best thing. Check this out from Fox real quick.
Alligator Alcatraz. That's what Florida officials are calling a piece of the Everglades they want to turn into the state's largest immigration facility. Dana Marie McNichol got an exclusive look, and she joins us now. Hey, Dana Marie.
Hey, Brian. Well, the Florida Attorney General is announcing a brand new proposal to help ease the pressure on the state's county jails that are right now being used to hold detained illegal migrants. So on a large piece of unused land, Attorney General James Uthmeyer, he says the potential site would serve as a 3-in-1 immigration enforcement facility. It would house detainees, process legal cases, and serve as a deportation hub. Now, the proposed integrated federal and state approach includes the construction of temporary structures and 1,000 beds, making it the state's largest detention facility.
This remote area is surrounded by the Everglades, but is not part of the Everglades National Park. It was chosen because it already has an airstrip. The proposal includes flying people directly out from here for deportation.
Now, that part at the end there, where it has an airstrip on it, is really attractive to the Trump administration. Because remember the 3 planes that left headed towards El Salvador originally, and a judge said, hey, if those planes took off, turn them around and get them back here, and the Trump administration didn't. And then a couple, like 2 months after that, there was a point where they had people loaded on buses headed to the airport, and a judge found out they were about to fly more people out, and he put a stop to it. So, like, getting people to the airport and airborne is where they keep getting slowed down. So if you have an airstrip and an airport out there in the middle of the Everglades that the media can't keep an eye on that. Like you can have everybody there and you can ship them out to El Salvador all night long and nobody's going to know they're coming and going. So that's very
How long
attractive.
does it take to build one of these prisons? A maximum security prison in the Everglades?
I'll bet they're going to get it done in a year or
4
2.
years? 4 years?
But the optics of that, like Trump is going to love that. Yeah, try to escape. If you escape, you have to swim through the Everglades where there's alligators and pythons and all kinds of things to kill you, crocodiles. Like, Have fun. Try to escape. So he's going to love that from an optics standpoint, no matter what. And also, crucially, it's not part of the Everglades National Forest or National Park, whatever it is. And the land is owned by Miami-Dade County, I believe. So, like, there's no roadblocks. Like, if it was in a lot of other places, Democrats could put up a fight and try to stop this. But I'm telling you right now, like, there's no roadblocks to this whatsoever. This is going to get built. 100% this is going to get built.
Yeah. And I'm not even mad at it. I don't care. I don't care that they're building it.
The only thing I don't like about it is, like I said, they're going to be able to get people to El Salvador way easier now. Like, you
I
won't
don't
even
think
know
they're
they're
going to
gone.
put people. I don't think they're going to bring people to El Salvador anymore.
I don't know. I think that the only reason
I
they
mean,
can't.
I think they got that stopped, right? The judges stopped that. Like, that's done. Trump's not going to keep fighting that, right?
That's still going through the courts, I believe. And they're
but it's
like,
been.
I like I said, I think the biggest thing is every time they've tried twice to send like plane loads of people out, and people are finding out as they're on their way to the airport and getting it stopped. But if like the next batch they try to send out, we don't find out about it till they're already there. Then he can do the whole. Well, they're already there. They're the president of El Salvador would have to give them back, and he doesn't want to. So it's once you can get them off American soil, then I can't do it. I can't help you. Sorry, Judge. Like I asked, and they said they won't give him back. Like that's all he's got to do. So I think the planes to El Salvador are going to ramp back up if they can get this opened. That's my.
I don't know if I'm going to bet on that they don't. I think that the Trump administration is shipping these people back to their original country, and they're perfectly fine with that. They don't have to fight the courts. They're perfectly fine with it. I think they're just going to they're going to live with that.
I don't think so. I think that he still his immigration numbers still aren't where he wants them to be.
Unless he needs a distraction.
Okay. Which right now Iran and Israel are the distraction for now, but that'll end eventually.
Yeah. So apparently we have too many holidays and too many vacations.
He had to put he had to say
how many days has Trump golfed?
There's like 2 black holidays a year that I can think of. MLK Day and Juneteenth. Those are the 2 black ones. He could have said it on there's Columbus Day, Flag Day. Like there's all these other holidays that don't really matter but no, he had to pick one of the black holidays to be like, we have too many holidays. People need to get off their ass and get back to work. Basically, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, and the workers don't even want these days off. Like,
when I saw that, that's another one of those where like, if this was anybody else, that would have been a big deal. And that was that was just, like whatever. Trump's talking again. Like, he says so much that you can't keep track of all the different things he said. Like, you can't get offended about everything. So
didn't he send that out while he's at the golf course?
He might. No, he just said the other day that he's mad that he hasn't been able to golf in 3 weeks, which I saw 22% of his time as president has been golfing. But
22%.
But he hasn't been able to golf in 3 weeks. So he's very upset about that. So, sorry, maybe things will calm down in the Middle East so he can get back to golfing. I don't know. You know what? Things might be better for us when he's on the golf course, if you think about it. Like, if he's not on the golf course, he's in the Oval Office, and I'd almost rather he be golfing. That's kind of my thought.
I like that. We'll just keep him golfing. And who's running the country, though?
I don't
JD?
care.
I guess it's better.
No, JD went to California today. This is a quick, funny one. I didn't pull anything from it, but JD went to California, and he was giving a press conference. And that senator last week that got thrown to the ground by ICE, his name's Alex Padilla, and JD accidentally called him Jose Padilla. I don't. People are saying he did it as like a slam on Mexican names. I don't really know. But then Gavin Newsom jumped out afterward and was like, "Hey JD, like you got a lot to say. Try saying it to my face. I'll debate you anytime, anywhere." And like JD never responded. But that's what Gavin Newsom's good at. Like Gavin Newsom used to go on Hannity and debate Hannity left and right. Like, like I don't want Gavin to be the nominee, but like I'd love to watch him and JD Vance go at it. Like, give me that all day long. It's not going to happen. There's no way, no how. But maybe they might go back and forth on Twitter a little bit. But so far that hasn't even happened. But go Gavin, get him.
Go Gavin. Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got for tonight. You got anything else you want to chat about?
I think that's it, bro.
Okay. Next time, prepare some stuff. We're both going to do some homework. This is a teaser. I saw Senator Mike Lee, who we both can agree sucks. But he was on a podcast.
Yeah, Mike Lee. Call your congressman and call Mike Lee.
He was on a podcast, and he said, the clip that I saw, he said, he said, if the only thing I knew about the whole sale of public lands is what the left-wing media is saying, I would hate it too. The problem is none of that's true. Like, we're not selling national forests, national monuments. Well, he listed all the things they're not selling, and he's like, the land we're talking about selling is land that nobody's going to. Like, it's just sitting there being unused. Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
It's still our land. It's still our land.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm going to tell you, I want to look into this between now and the next episode so we can really have a talk about it. So I want you to prepare your best case. If Mike Lee's telling the truth and we're not selling,
he's not. He's absolutely not telling the truth. I can tell you that right now.
And Obama didn't deport people without due process, right?
Dude, he's not. This is land people aren't going to. Dude, have you ever been camping in Colorado?
I want to see a map. I want to see where this land is.
Am I frozen on your end?
You are frozen. There we go. You're back. I want to see a map. I want to see where this land is. I want to do some more research, okay? Because all the headlines I'm seeing is that he's selling our public land, and when I see that, I'm thinking like the national forest and whatnot. If he's not, like I said, let's both do some research so we can talk about this with a little bit of knowledge. Because right now I'm not ready to talk about it.
Okay, I'm making a note.
Yep, make a note. Do your homework. If Mike Lee's telling the truth, I'm going to be on Mike Lee's side for just the fun of having both sides represented.
It's not right, and he shouldn't be selling my land and your land.
It is our land.
To pollute the water and the streams and the air. Like, do you want to drink water at Flint, Michigan? Oh, dude, have you seen Tim Dillon lately?
Tim Dillon
has been going.
We played a clip of him the other week. He's been killing it. Yeah.
Dude, again,
Tim Dillon,
yeah.
Him and Bill Burr and Jon Stewart are the three voices of the resistance left.
And Theo Vaughn, too. Theo
Vaughn had Rokon on, and I watched a little bit of that, and that was good. More Democrats need to go on Theo Vaughn's show. That's all I'm saying.
I like Theo Vaughn.
Yeah. So, and I did see something where they said, it was a tweet that said, Democrats have been looking for their Joe Rogan of the left. I present you Tucker Carlson. It's like, no, he's not. He's not our Joe Rogan of the left, but like I said, take a win where you can get it.
Rogan on the left. We don't need a Joe Rogan on the left.
No,
we do our own thing.
We need Tim Dillon. We need Tim Dillon to go on Joe Rogan and get Joe Rogan to agree with him about some of this shit.
I mean, eventually Joe Rogan's gonna come back to our side, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Joe Rogan's
he's
lost.
slowly but surely doing it. I feel like he has a conscience. He's been sucked down this. Maybe he did too much DMT at one point, and he just kind of.
He moved to Texas. He's surrounded by. It's all about who you're surrounded with. He's surrounded by MAGA people. That's all he hears. You're
surrounded by MAGA people.
Yeah, but I talk to you too much. You keep me grounded. So, all right, we got to get out of here, man. Let's talk here soon. All righty.
All right, later.
Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar. Sometimes the bar eats you.